Welcome back, guys. I'm Mother Dearest, and this is the Off-Script Parent. Hi, guys. I am so sorry. It has been absolute ages since I've released an episode. I am very painfully aware, but, been a little bit preoccupied with being quite unwell. If you follow me on socials, you'll be well aware of that already. But, this episode isn't really, it's not about that at all. But if you want to know how my journey on Zoladex has been going, I have just uploaded a video of my first month on Zoladex and what it's been like. There is a clip as well in there of the nurse giving me my Zoladex because it is quite a large needle directly into my stomach, which is always fun. So, I've grabbed myself a coffee. I've turned the bloody heating on because I am cold constantly at the moment. I got my script and I'm ready. So, this episode, Parenting Without Support. This episode is for anyone doing it without a village. No grandparents around the corner to help you out. And by that, I mean your parents, obviously. No siblings to have the kids overnight for you. No one to grab them from school if they're sick and you've got to be in the office or at an appointment or somewhere other than picking them up from school. Maybe you've got a partner or the other parent around. Maybe you haven't. But either way, if your support system is small or completely lacking, this episode's for you. So when people say it takes a village, they're not wrong. But what they don't talk about is what it feels like when you don't have one. Some parents have a bit of family or a couple of friends. Some parents really have no one. Maybe you're estranged from your family for really valid reasons. You are the cycle breaker, so your hand's been forced, really. Maybe they're sadly not with us anymore. Some have got family, they just aren't on our doorstep. Maybe they've moved away, maybe you have. And then there's parents who technically have family, but not the kind you can rely on. Not with the kids, anyway. And then we'll move on to the other 50% of their DNA. Maybe they're still involved. Maybe they're flaky, inconsistent, unsafe, or just MIA. Maybe they've always been there and they live with you, but they don't show up in the way you need them to. You've ended up with another dependent adding to your mental load, and it'd be probably easier if maybe you weren't together. Been there. So if you're listening thinking, yeah, that's me, I want you to know struggling without support does not mean you're failing as a parent. It means you're parenting in conditions that were never meant to be done alone. Humans have evolved raising kids in groups, like with aunties, uncles, grandparents, neighbours, older kids running around together. Modern parenting removed most of that, but it still expects parents to cope like it's still there. So if you're exhausted, overwhelmed, winging it half the time, you're certainly not alone in that. So, I'll lay out my situation for you. So, this is coming from experience and genuine empathy, not just me assuming based on what I've seen of other people. I know what it's like to have no village. And I also know what it feels like to have had one and then to lose it. I have no communication with my parents at all. I'm really sorry if you can hear the bubbles in my coffee, by the way, because I just wafted my hand and made all the bubbles pop. That's the word. Anyway, back to my dramas. I have a brother who's, I see him at weddings and funerals, basically. Despite having absolutely zero fallout, he just doesn't do people. I thought I was bad. No, he really doesn't do people. It's not just me as well, it's my sister. So yeah, I have a sister as well. I have got a really close relationship with her and I see her as much as I can. We do live over an hour away from each other, which is mildly irritating. She's married, has given me 2 beautiful nieces, and she's very busy navigating that because my eldest niece is 3 and the baby is almost 4 months. She's got a full-time job when she's not on mat leave and her own life. So yeah, don't get to see her as often as I'd like. We do FaceTime and text quite often, but I do wish we were closer. So my eldest has already moved out, had her son, got her own place with her husband. If you were on the live I did, oh my God, probably in January now. Yeah, it must have been. We're not on great terms. Civil if we see each other around town, but currently we've mutually agreed to not have a relationship. Not something I'm going to get into because it's just something I can't really. Yeah, it just doesn't feel right. So for the time being, I have the 3 kids at home still, with 3 different dads along with that, which, will make many people clutch at their pearls like, "Oh my God, get over it." Ex-husband 1 is MIA because he's a piece of shit. We were married when our son was born, but he decided being a dad was too much for him, so I raised him for 10 years on my own. He made contact, we carefully reintroduced, got to the point of him having our son every other weekend. The child maintenance service wanted to do a review before closing the books because he paid me directly, and then he got caught being a little fuckhead, threw his toys out the pram, and said he wouldn't see our son anymore then. Cunt. Ex-husband number 2. 50-50 co-parenting, week on, week off. We're civil now, but it took years to get there. I do have a good relationship with his new wife. I still wouldn't go to them for much beyond things that pertain directly to the child we share. Like, I do here and there, but definitely not my biggest source of support. Ex-husband number 3. Great co-parent. Again, 50-50, week on, week off. But he'll support me with any of the kids. He's been in our lives for a decade now, and he comes from a very similar family background. We help each other like best friends would because we know how valuable the other person is, and I don't really see that changing. And yes, I do have a boyfriend, but he isn't a stepdad. He is my boyfriend. From the start, I set clear expectations. I'm not looking for a replacement dad or a new stepdad. It's not the usual dynamic, I know, but it works for us. It might sound a bit confusing, but I will try and rope him in to do an episode with me to explain how we function as a family without him playing dad. But he's a little bit shy and apparently doesn't like his voice, even though he's got a really nice voice, but I don't know. I'll try and convince him. The invisible struggles. Parenting without support doesn't just mean being tired. What support do we miss out on when we don't actually have that village around us? There is no one to take the kids when you're ill. Being a parent is obviously 24/7, and things still have to happen regardless of whether we're sick or not. If you've got no one to take them off your hands, what are you meant to do? I've genuinely had to call the school before and say, they won't be in because I am too sick and I have no one to help me. No childcare safety net for the other way round. The huffs and fucking eye rolls I've had off management when I've had to call in or say I need to work from home because one of the kids is unwell and the nursery or school won't have them is actually unreal. Like, I literally know you have kids. I know you've talked about them. You haven't been in this position. No emergency backup. So no one to help you if you run out of money. No one to grab you if your car breaks down. No one to watch the other kids if one needs to go to A&E. It's a fucking nightmare. No one validating your decisions. Everyone thinks, what the fuck do I do? Or am I doing the right thing? And it's nice being able to bounce that idea off of somebody. So when you haven't got that person, then that's quite a lonely place to be. No one noticing when you're drowning. At the point of being of overwhelm, when getting out of bed feels too much, and I'm not being hyperbolic, it really feels that hard some days. I couldn't drag myself out of my room most days the past week. It's hard. Just not having someone on your team who knows exactly what your struggles are, what you're facing day to day, and without feeling like you've just got someone to rant to. Basically, it's beyond exhausting having to be the planner, the comforter, provider, cook, cleaner, nurse, PA, taxi, teacher, anything else you can think of, all at once and alone, and it fucking sucks. This is why many people stay in contact with family or in relationships they don't really want to, even if 98% of the load is still on them. The grief. I don't mean the pain in the arse type of grief. I mean the actual sadness over loss. Grieving for the support you should have had. It's so hard not to look at other people who have very involved parents or partners and just think they have no idea how lucky they are. But comparison is the thief of joy, my guys. I think it sometimes. I wish I had more help. My sister's got an incredible mother-in-law who is on hand and helps out whenever they want, if they want. She doesn't overstep or anything like that. She's just hella helpful. I acknowledge my situation is different. It can hurt sometimes, but why dwell? That doesn't help me. That just uses energy that could be better spelt elsewhere. Spelt? Spent. Jesus. Emotional support. So far, the support I've pretty much mentioned is kind of practical. Sometimes support is small and powerful things like another parent who can grab your kid once in a blue moon, a neighbour who takes a parcel or keeps an eye out, a friend who's going to listen to your voice note rant at 10 p.m, a teacher who quietly helps when your kid is struggling. Villagers don't always have to look like blood relatives. Sometimes there's a bit of a patchwork of people who show up in different ways. If you've got no friend group local to you, let's look at how you can get some. Play dates with the kids and chat with the parent. They might be your new bestie, or at the very least, someone who can be a source of support. Local mum and dad groups on Facebook seem to work well. My oldest did that when she became a mum, as her friends were still in college or working full time, and she felt quite lonely. Plus, she was relatively new to this area because her school was out of the area. So, yeah, she found that quite useful. If you can afford it and you're having a baby, NCT, what is it, National Childbirth Trust? It was worth its weight in gold. I only did it when I had Lissy, to have those women around me when they're not sleeping, or you just had someone there all the time, pretty much. It was really nice. And the dads had each other as well, and they'd go out for beers and stuff, which was quite nice. School staff. There's usually one member of staff that you'll get along with, they don't all piss you off. Even sometimes a glancing smile means a lot, like some mornings. There's also usually a parent liaison officer. Their job is literally to support families. So if you're having any issues with anything, really, speak to them, because they'll either be able to give you an ear just to listen, offer you some advice, or point you in a direction of where you can get some support or advice. There is absolutely no shame in talking to them and asking. If your pride is stopping you reaching out, remember who you're actually doing this for. There's online spaces where you don't have to explain yourself. Just remember, don't share too much information and make sure you don't end up screaming into an echo chamber. Having people who understand your struggle is great, but it can tip over into just compounding your negative feelings and becoming really fucking toxic. So just be mindful of that. As I'm reading this script, I'm like, I know there's bits further on about emotional support. You know what? I ain't got an episode out for ages. If I start rewriting now, I ain't recording this before I pick up kids. So just bear with me, alright? I promise. It will improve. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm well out the loop. Practical support. Again, parenting without support forces you to become incredibly fucking resourceful, and I can safely say I am hella resourceful when I have to be. I will link these resources in the show notes. You don't have to remember all of this now. Anything I mention that is going to be of use, I will put in the show notes, fear not. So, here's some things worth looking into. Free school meals. Are your kids entitled to them? Have you checked? And even if, say, you were last school year, but now you're not in the same financial position and you're not entitled or wouldn't have been, you are actually still entitled. They are now entitled for the duration of being at school, I believe. It's longer than what it was before anyway. It's not just your circumstances change, you're no longer entitled. It's not like that. Did you also know it goes beyond just getting a free lunch? They get extra funding towards uniform costs, funding towards trip payments, breakfast and after school clubs. It also in turn opens you up to the Holiday Activities and Food Programme, sometimes seen as the acronym HAF. That provides school holiday club vouchers, which are sent to you digitally, and they range from arts and craft days in local community centres to training sessions at professional football stadiums. I'm not joking. There's such a range on there. There is literally something for everyone from all age ranges. You also get digital supermarket vouchers, which you can pick which supermarket, and it literally has all of them on there that I can think of. It's £15 per week per child in the school holidays. So think about it, 6 weeks holiday. If you've got 3 kids that are all entitled, well, that is some bank right there. It's worth looking into now, huh? Local offer. Every council website has a local offer. This has got clubs and groups for kids of all different needs, abilities, ages, interests, as well as things for their parents, and they're either free or heavily subsidised by the council. I know where I live, they do proper tennis lessons for £2. It's pretty decent. It's a good way to keep the kids busy and something for you, and it's also another way to meet other parents, friends. Social prescribing. What the fuck is that, you ask? I did a whole last paper on this in uni. You can be prescribed a gym membership or exercise classes. GPs, family support workers and other professionals can refer you. They typically do this for people who have health conditions such as diabetes, high blood pressure, asthma, etc. But it's also for people with mild depression. Now, show me an isolated parent who isn't mildly depressed. This is again another way to meet new people and make friends. It's worth looking into. The Peanut app, or similar. Again, my daughter used this to connect with other local mums her age, and she's actually formed some good friendships there. Just be safe. Meet in public. Don't give out your home address. Make sure someone knows where you are. Please, people, stay safe. It's 2026. I shouldn't need to say that, but I feel like if I don't, I don't need that on my conscience. Household Support Fund. It's money given to local councils to help families struggling with costs. So you can quite often get things like supermarket vouchers, help with your gas and electric bills, white goods like your fridge, freezers, washing machines, that kind of thing. There's emergency cash support. You can usually apply through your local council website, or sometimes schools or family support workers can help you or put you in the right direction with that. There's also a few websites dedicated to helping single parents or those without the support they actually need, like Gingerbread or Family Lives, which again I will link in the show notes. If you're parenting without support and you feel like none of that is going to help you out, then you're not helping yourself. No, I'm kidding. Well, I am and I'm not, but let's talk about other things we can do. Routines to protect your energy, because it is exhausting. First off, say no. Like, practice it with me. No. We say it to our kids all the time, but when other people ask us to do stuff, suddenly we're like, oh yeah, no, sure. No, this is not the era of people pleasing. No. If you're out here doing everything by yourself, why are you doing things for other people? I'm not saying don't be kind or don't be helpful, but do not overcommit. Conserve energy. Learn how much you can deal with in a day and stick to it. Even if you can do more today, it quite often borrows a bit of energy from tomorrow, so keep it easy for yourself. Rearrange or cancel things when it feels too much. Don't guilt trip yourself. Don't sign up for PTA or parent helper on every school trip. I mean, if you want to sign up to the PTA and you feel like you would want to do that and you can make some mum friends, cool. Personally, I find it quite clicky and it is not for me. But that's just me. Sticking with routines, the house. You don't have to live in a show home. I have 100% had someone coming over for and shoved all the washing up in the oven, and I'm not sorry. Well, I was sorry because then I forgot and preheated the oven and baked everything. I only did it once, I have learnt my lesson. Having piles of clean washing shows your kids have clean clothes, and a basket of dirty laundry means they've worn clothes. No one cares as much as you think. Toys being on the floor shows that your kids have played with them and played freely. Again, no one cares unless they fall over them, in which case they might care a bit, but look where the fuck you're going. I'm not saying it's healthy to live in an unclean environment by any means, but that's not unclean, that's messy. And messy and dirty are not the same. And personally, I think it's weirder going into a home where kids live and you feel like sitting down is going to make a mess. It's a home, it's meant to be lived in. Kids are capable of helping around the house as well. We don't want weaponised incompetence. No, we are not raising that. Age appropriately, kids can help with loads of stuff. Right, what are some of the things my kids do? Put on a wash, hang it on the airer, fold things, put things away. It's fine. They can do that. That's not abusing your children. It's life skills. At what point they're going to learn it? Even if they can't do the whole process, they can definitely do part of it. I'll still hang up Alicia's hanging up clothes, but she can put away pyjamas, and she has a basket of like her after school kind of loungy clothes, because I'm not hanging up everything for her to just pull out things and then leave them chucked all over her sofa. She has a basket for that stuff, but she can do that. If I'm doing something and I hear the washing machine finish, I'll say to her, can you put it on a spin for me? She can do that. It's fine. You haven't got to do everything. Kids can do the dishes or dishwasher. Again, age appropriately, but they can do that. Putting away their own crap. Stair baskets for the win. I swear to God, if that is my washing machine about to actually do a spin cycle because I just mentioned the damn thing, I'm going to lose my marbles. I sincerely hope that doesn't come through on the recording. Anyway, back to what kids can do to help. Hoovering. Personally, my kids love hoovering. They're like me. I don't know, I find it very satisfying. Stripping their bed sheets. All of mine can do this, and the eldest two can remake their beds as well. Emptying bins, even if it's just the bedroom ones, or taking the kitchen bin out. Remember, it's all age and ability appropriate here, but they can do this stuff. Feeding the pets, walking the dogs. It sounds like a lot, they're just ideas. I'm not suggesting you note all these down a list and make your kids do all of it, but like, my kids do all of those things, it's just not every day. They do have some everyday chores though, because I have everyday chores. And in the same way they didn't ask to be, and neither did I, so hey ho, we move. Okay, sticking with routines, meals. If you can't cook every single night because you're knackered, chronically ill, mentally overwhelmed, or just nah, then let's think about that bit for a moment. You don't have to feel bad for giving your pizza kids to correct that. You don't have to feel bad for giving your kids pizza or beans on toast for dinner. Personally, I'll shove some carrot sticks or cucumber sticks on the side, and that makes me feel a lot less guilty about the nutrition real quick. Super noodles. Personally, I don't like noodles, but my kids all love them. Super noodles with a bag of microwave frozen veg. I just shove it all in a pan. They love that meal. So bizarre. For context, if you don't already know, my kids are 16, 13 and 7. They can cook. Owls can get real creative and cook most things at this point. Jazz is learning, but he can do a mean batch of fajitas. Like, there's quite a few meals he can cook now. Liz obviously needs supervision, but she loves to help and she's learning. Like, she's more capable than I probably let her be, just because she's very clumsy and I get scared and I don't want to have to answer to any nurses as to why my child's burnt herself. So, yeah, that tends to be heavily supervised. On your better days, though, batch cook and freeze things in portions. If you have a slow cooker, use it. It does not have to be just for stews in the winter. I have seen loads of stuff on social media and I've seen these things like, I can't think what they actually call them. I think it's like a slow cooker freezer bag or something. They literally just put all of their ingredients in those large freezer bags, obviously shove it in the freezer, and then they just take it out in the morning that they want to use it, put it all in the slow cooker. Even pasta dishes, which I have actually made and it worked and went down well. I thought it was going to be horrendous. You do add the pasta in like near the end, but everything else in the morning. It's great. Even if you don't do that every single week, when you think of it. I also use that Resimi app. I think it was like 35 quid for a year. If I see any recipes, even like on Instagram Reels, if someone's like sharing a recipe, I just share it and then I share it to that app and it gives me the whole recipe, all the ingredients, and then you can go back into the app and select all the different meals and it will do your shopping list with like actually how many of each things you would need. I find that quite useful, and it's not an ad, by the way. I just think it's a decent app, so I'm not going to gatekeep. So how do I round this one off this week? Well, if you're doing this alone, you're doing the work of multiple adults, so please be nice to yourself. There is help out there. The problem is nobody has your manual when you become a parent, especially when you're doing it on your own. Half the battle is just knowing what exists. As I already said, I will put as much as I can in the show notes without feeling like you're reading an entire book. And as and when I think of other tips or I hear about other things, I will try and do like a Instagram reel series or shorts on YouTube or TikTok. I'll probably cross-platform post, let's be honest. I want to be able to help because I do really understand what it's like to not have much in the way of support. But you are doing a great job. I know you feel like you're not, probably, a lot of the time. But we are. It is hard. Your kids will remember a lot more of the good parts than the time she was struggling than you realise, believe me. You do deserve support, help and a rest. You deserve to be seen and have your needs taken care of too. And if your village looks nothing like the picture people sell, then it doesn't make your parenting any less valid or lower in quality. If you want to share this with a parent you think's quietly holding it together, please do. I would appreciate it. I'm thinking maybe we get a closed Facebook group going, maybe. Is that safe? Do people still do that? Like, I'll need an admin, because I can barely admin my own life admin. I literally forget Facebook exists. I'm the admin of my daughter's school Facebook group. So when people request to join that, good luck. I'll get back to you in the next 3 months. It won't happen if I'm doing it. But if someone wants to do it, I'll pop up like a poll on my Instagram stories after this and see what the general consensus is. And then people can nominate themselves to moderate. Is that what it's called? Moderate it? Admin it? I don't fucking know. Either way. Oh no. I've lost the end of my bit of script. Say to follow me on all the socials. I'm just going to link them because I can't even remember them off the top of my head. If you follow me, you know my memory has been lacking severely since starting Zoladex. And wow, I didn't even finish writing my notes. Good job. Anyway, guys. I think I've just used my last brain cell doing this. As always, be nice to yourself. Take care of yourself. Much love. Mother dearest.